deal. You already know who it is. Jamal Asharenu, we back in. Get these angles right. Hopefully everybody is good. What's up? What's up? Peace, peace. What's up, Keenan? Right. Just going in. We just going in. So we're gonna let everybody come in. What's up, Moon Spirit? We're gonna let everybody get up in here. What's up, Puma? What's up, Show? What's good? What's the deal? What's the deal, everybody? Yeah. So, you already know. Every day we training, every day we practicing. What's up, King? Every day we training, every day we practice. All right. Every day we got our breath exercise, right? What's up, psychosexual? I haven't seen you in a while. What's up, psychosexual? What's up? What's up? So, so let's turn this down. All right. Like I said, every day we practicing our arts. You know what I mean? Every day we practicing the breathing exercise. You can see what's up, Marvin and Magi. So y'all see, I got the cotton just in case y'all see. Don't be distracted by that. That's purposely placed there to alter my breathing. Because every day we on our job. Every day we putting in that work in some form or fashion, right? What's up, back from hiatus? What's up, Young's World? What's up? What's up? So let me turn this off. And we're gonna get into it. We're not gonna be here too long. We're gonna try to knock this message out in another 30 minutes. Because I know we all have busy lives, right? Now, the question that has been posed is, does information alter your physical appearance? Now, that's a very, very multi-layered question because you can't just use the physical plane to explain that answer. And what I mean by that is essentially what they're asking is, does this information have the ability to alter your atoms that are present within the body? Can this information alter your atoms, which will result in you having a different physical appearance? Now, the short answer is yes. But of course, we like the long answers, right? What's up, Erica? And then that's exactly what I was about to get at, right? Erica is asking how. Like I said, we like the long answers, right? So the short answer is yes, but let's dig into the longer answer. Why is that? Let us explain. For example, there's a reason why people who think alike look alike, not just in physical appearance, but also in dress. What do I mean, right? When you look at the Muslim community, it's like, or any community, the Jewish community, right? You can look at any community and you can say they pretty much have their accepted codes of conduct, right? Everyone has a uniform, essentially. Let's just keep it plain, right? Everybody has a uniform, and you may have variations of that uniform, but essentially, when we're dealing with the masses, they all essentially look the same. They easily blend in with each other, right? And again, this isn't to say it's right or wrong, good or bad. We're just explaining what's going on because they think alike. It's not necessarily because remember, thoughts become everything else. So we know it all starts with the thoughts. If you can manipulate the thoughts, then the body is going to follow naturally, and that's what happens. So therefore, because you have so many people that are alike in thought, the result is this is why when trends happen, Everybody wants to wear the new trends. Everybody wants to manipulate that which is popular, right? Who determines what is popular? Someone who does different things, right? For example, the so-called cool kids have a different experience than, let's just say, the average, everyday, typical person. The cool kids may have been exposed to a vaster amount of things, and therefore, they may, of course, as a child, you're not going to take the information that you receive and be completely constructive with it. You're going to do some destructive things as well. So it is during your teenage years that you essentially first begin to explore not only the possibilities, but what you can do destructively as well. Because this is when you can say your sense of self starts to be developed as you become aware. Once you go to high school, like, things are different. You become a lot more independent. All right, what's up, Afro Pick? What's up, Taurine's Garden? But again, we're not gonna make this too long. Let's get to the point. Because most people think alike, most people look alike. So therefore, the people who are into alternative schools of thought, these people tend to stand out, not necessarily because they're trying to, because that's something that's a personality that they're trying to put on. That's just naturally the way they move, which is the complete opposite of the norm. But their norm is the alternative. So to them, that's just who and what they are. But they always have that magnetic attraction. So let's give you a different example, right? Let's give it a different example. Because atoms can be programmed, and we know the body renews itself completely every 7 years, right? So within this 7 year cycle, right? Within this 7 year cycle of the body renewing itself completely, it will go through various smaller cycles, right? So we have the cycles that we go through on a daily basis. We have cycles that we go through on a weekly basis. Then we have cycles that we go through on a yearly basis, right? So certain things have their own time. Certain things have its own frequency, right? Brianna gives a $2.22 donation to 22. Much love and respect to you, Brianna, as always. You know what I mean? And anyone else, right? So much love and respect to you. What's up, EMS girl? Yeah, that is a good point, Erica. Erica says couples look alike. Exactly, because you are essentially on the same frequency. So therefore, right, you guys begin to resemble one another because your thoughts are in sync. So she's absolutely right about that. So yes, that is another example of, we know this to be true. We just may not have looked into it from a scientific perspective, in the sense of, okay, can we alter things in our benefits? This is essentially what we're getting at, right? So like, okay, information alters your look. Okay, do you have control over that process? Can you choose essentially how you want to look? Well, this is what we get into, right? That's the question everybody wants to know. And how would that be possible? If it is possible, how would somebody go about doing that? How would you even know what does what? For example, people who speak the same language resemble each other, right? That's another thing that unifies the looks with the people. People who speak a similar language resemble one another in some form, right? So somehow they resemble each other because they speak in that frequency. So for example, the real question It's not, because we're gonna take it a step further. Or the real question is not, can you alter your looks? The real question is, are you able to manipulate your looks at will? Or, for example, because when you say, can you alter your looks, you can essentially say that, um, what if you change this look? What if you change into something that you may not agree with? For example, when you alter your looks, it changes your reality, right? What's up, Curtis Law? When you change your looks, it alters your reality because the atoms around you respond to the atoms within you differently. That's essentially what's going on. The atoms outside of you start to respond to the atoms within you differently because they are different because there has been a change that occurred, right? So because there has actually been a change that occurred, then we understand that there is a difference in reactions, different chemical reactions, right? So I'm trying to smash this into a quick section because you see there's so many ways we can take this. There's so many ways, so many paths that can be open. But let's just deal with this one thing. Yes. Let's look at it this way. As we know, we spoke about this before. Each deity, each spirit has multiple paths. Right? So let's just say a name that we're all popular with, right? We just say Venus. We're all at least aware of Venus in some form or fashion. So Venus can go 16 different ways of manifestation. See, this is what makes manifestation so interesting. Is because we may be focused so much on the Venus, but Venus can take 16 different paths of manifestation. Let's keep that in mind, or any other planet, any other energy. So, for example, when we think about Jupiter, we think either about the planet or the goddess of beauty, right? It has something to do with the energy of beauty, right? And of course, beauty is associated with our looks, right? So, beauty, beauty and looks go hand in hand. So essentially, what you're tapping into is your beauty. Beauty is an intelligence in and of itself, right? Beauty is an intelligence in and of itself. Beauty can respond and is receptive to thought. Therefore, when people do rituals dedicated to the enhancement of their beauty, what they're really doing is amplifying their magnetic attractions to the atoms outside of themselves. You can say they are charging themselves with a negative energy that's able to have a greater response on this positive energy, right? Now, somebody's saying becoming comfortable with yourself. This is the thing. We have no stagnant position. See, this is I challenge everyone to look at it from this perspective. There are no permanents in this reality. Because there is no permanence, and this is essentially where I'm getting at, we can look different every single day, right? A woman could put on a different look, a different styling of makeup on every single day and look different every single day if that's what she wanted to do. However, we can also alter the way we look on a physical level as well every single day, just by understanding that there is no permanence in the so-called physical reality. There is no permanence. So there isn't a such thing as really getting comfortable with yourself, because yourself is always changing. Yourself doesn't have a stagnated look. Yourself is always adapting to new types of stimulation that you're given to it, right? So because everything is constantly in a transformation, that means, what is beauty? Is beauty, because we can say, okay, we can look at, let's just say you look at a monument and you say that's a beautiful monument. Beauty is not necessarily something that's standing in place. Beauty is something that's in constant motion. Beauty always changes. What is considered beauty in 1960 is not what's considered beauty in 2018, right? We know that because beauty changes. Beauty isn't stagnant. Beauty isn't fixed. Beauty is always in rotation. So beauty is a state or mentality of something that's constantly evolving. Beauty is constantly evolving. Because beauty is constantly evolving, the energy that we tap into to understand this energy of transformation, of course, is best. That's the Scorpio energy. Of course, the Scorpio is associated with death. So that would be the best energy. Can you find beauty in death? Can you find beauty in death, in dying, in decay? Right? Because that's the true definition of a rock star. A rock star can find beauty in the decay process. That's why they always have images of decaying spirits on their bodies, because they are falling in love with the image of decay. Therefore, let me grab something for you. When we see the skull, can we fall in love with the mysteries contained within the skull? Even though the skull essentially represents death and decay, right? That's essentially what it represents. But can you fall in love with the idea of this, right? Can you fall in love with the idea of this? Because falling in love with the idea of this changes you, right? This represents transformation. This represents, no matter what I look, no matter what shape and form that the skin takes, the skull always essentially looks the same, right? Every skull essentially looks like this. Although there's so many different varieties of people, but essentially all skulls look the same. Essentially, there's different modifications, there's slight changes, but what's constantly changing is the skin, the outer appearance, the Venus, that beauty, which is always in motion. So we strive to tap into the energies that are always in motion. Okay, here we go. What I want to do is, here we go actually. I wanted to show you the death card, but it was already at the bottom of the deck, right? So, but I'm going to grab these other decks as well and show you. Right? So I'm going to show with this deck, I'm going to show with this deck, so we can see this energy and how it is associated with beauty. Now, the reason I'm utilizing death is because we don't normally associate death with beauty. Why? Because we're told to mourn when people pass on instead of celebrating, right? But when we celebrate the passing along of somebody, or somebody joining the ancestral realm, then we understand that there is a beauty even to the death process. And we all know this on the internal level, but we may not, always see it externally expressed. But as long as we keep that within our skulls, because remember, the skulls represent memory, as long as we keep the truth contained within our memory, regardless of the ever changing tides of the physical reality, then we tap into the energy that we call beauty. Because we tap into the energy that we call beauty, we therefore alter the way we look. Why? Because beauty is always changing. So to be a person of beauty, to be someone who's considered beautiful, that means you are constantly changing. You are constantly evolving. Beauty, again, isn't a fixed state. Beauty is something that is constantly evolving. Because beauty is constantly evolving, as we see here, you see this bird or this crow is on fire. Of course, you see the snake, but the crow is on fire. It is in a state of constant change, right? So let me grab the devil card out of here too. Now I'll show you this. Now, because beauty is constantly changing, tapping into this energy, because again, most people don't look at beauty as something that's constantly changing. They look at it as like, I want to be beautiful, meaning I want to exist, I want to be in a fixed state of beauty, when that really doesn't exist. That's why you say a lot of people have vain desires. This is what vanity means, meaning it doesn't go beneath the skin, right? But there is a level that goes beneath the skin, that exists within beauty. See, there's various ways to view beauty. There's various ways to look at one energy, right? It can be broken down several ways. So when we break down beauty in the sense of the beautification or the purification of the decay process, then we understand that this is why we embrace ideas and concepts like death. What you see, skulls and roses, they go hand in hand, right? You see those symbols together all the time, roses and skulls. Of course, a rose is a symbol of Venus, right? The beautification, the purification found within the decay process. That's why the skulls and roses, go hand in hand. Can you see the beauty within the decay? Because if you can see the beauty within the decay, then you embrace your ever-changing looks, because we are always evolving in thought. We don't have a fixed state of thinking. We are constantly in evolution. Let me find this card for you. All right, let me find this card for you. So that constant state of evolution, it's something that you grow and you move with on a daily basis, right? It's something that always changes from day to day, hour to hour. This is why we were just talking about the planetary vibrations yesterday. If you didn't see yesterday's video, we were talking about the planetary vibrations, because this helps us to understand that when we fall in love with the process of decay, death and rebirth, we also fall in love with the process of renewal. If we can accept death and decay, we can also accept renewal, meaning that change, your new form. You can also embrace your new form if you embrace that it's time for your old form to move on, right? So let me grab this card. All right. Let me find this card. We can get up out of here. All right. So now we see here the idea of beauty and decay. What's the ultimate representation of beauty? Beautifying the decay process is making your mummy beautiful. The mummification process. This is the god Anubis. You see him looking like a jackal. He represents the process of beautifying the mummy as well as the coffin. So you make the coffin and the mummy as beautiful as possible to the point where the mummy smells good, the mummy looks good, the mummy is perfectly preserved in this elaborate coffin. And all of this was just to represent that they embraced death. Therefore, they embraced the renewal of new life. So if you can become, excuse me, if you can embrace the idea of death, you can embrace the idea of new life, right? If you can embrace the idea of death, you can embrace the idea of new life, all right? Excuse me. And I'm going to show you one more different variation of the card, and we'll get up out of here. So hopefully this is making sense to everybody. That death is a ever-changing vibration and movement. All right. Let me see. Give me 1 second. 1 second. Let me find the card, and we'll get up out of here. Let's see. All right. Here we go. Let's take a very good look at this card. So this is giving you the concept of death from an Eastern perspective. All right, so let's take a good look at this. This is the concept of death from an Eastern perspective. Transformation. And again, we have that number 13, and we talk all about the number 13 all the time. So beauty is also associated with the number 13. Surprisingly, right? There's the name of the goddess for those who may want to look her up if y'all want to work with her. There's her name right there and her spelling. All right, you get a closer look. All right. So you see her physical shell, but you see her spirit is very, very vast. You see the vastness of her spirit. So the body is in a fixed position, but the spirit is limitless. So that's just a quick way to view this card without going too deep into it. You have the fixed state of the body, which can only lay in bed and dream and sleep, but the spirit remains vast, right? The vastness is found within the spirit. Beauty is within the spirit. Therefore, beauty is constantly changing, evolving, and moving, right? This is the true essence of beauty. So, there we go. So the question was, does information alter your physical appearance? And the answer is yes. Now we got the short answer and we have the long answer. Beauty helps you tap into transformation to get out of that fixed state of thinking, not just physically, but a fixed state of thinking. Also, a fixed state that you can't travel anywhere. Because again, most people don't embrace their dreams. So most people are not astral traveling because, you know, it's a lot of interference. I'm not saying that people are just on purpose not doing these things. There's just a lot of interference. You know, there's a lot of grid lines, there's a lot of energy, there's a lot of interference in today's times. So because there's a lot of interference, you know, it takes extra work to focus on all spiritual matters. It takes extra levels of concentration to stay tapped into this. This is why, you know, we're doing this on a daily basis. You know, just to let it be known, like, yo, this is something that we have to continuously engage in. This is not a fixed state, something that you arrive at, a fixed state that you arrive at, that you don't have to do any more work. This is something that is constantly evolving. This is something that's constantly changing forms, shapes. This is something that is truly formless. So beauty is truly formless. It's the energy that's radiating from the beauty itself that gives the appearance of beauty. Beauty is only the appearance, the manipulation of light. But the energy behind that light is an energy that is formless, a formless intelligence. So beauty, just like magic, is always found in the moment. Somebody may just appear beautiful to you in the moment. You may not have been thinking about this particular type of person yesterday. You may not think about them ever again. But someone may just appear beautiful to you in the moment. Right? So the way we respond to other people will always be based upon what ideas do we truly embrace. Can we truly see the beauty in the decay of life, as well as the renewal of life, the death and renewal, and how necessary death is in order for things to be renewed? Can we truly embrace these concepts? Will we continue to mourn at death, or will we begin to celebrate death? Because a lot of people find that idea pretty interesting. How do you celebrate death when we have been taught to mourn? It's a sad day. What do you mean it's a happy day? Because it represents occult principles of understanding that beauty can be found within death as well. If you can embrace death, you can embrace life. If you can embrace life, you can embrace death. Right? Because they go hand in hand. They are not separate. Right? Life and death go hand in hand. They are not separate energies. They exist within the same scales, just different polarities of the same scales. Right? So I just wanted to make some correlations and some correspondences that we may not have been able to piece together. But here it is once again. So we're gonna get up out of here. It's 30 minutes. So I'm probably gonna go live a little bit later as well. You know, I may give an extra 30 minutes, you know, a little bit later. So definitely stay tuned in. So let me make sure to shout everybody out before we get up out of here. Again, here we go. So what's up off the grid? Again, what's up Afro Pick? You know what I mean? What's good, King? Again, once again, love you too, Erica. You know, you already know. Your EMS girl, right? Are you always open for death, or are you trying to be physically immortal? This represents the idea of immortality, to be able to retain your memory, to evolve to basically, essentially be able to evolve with your spirit and your soul, to evolve with the spirit, because it is truly formless, but to retain your memory. Your sense of self never changes, although the forms that you take change. That's what the incarnations represent. We take on different forms every time we reincarnate. We take on different faces every time. If we look at the age of our soul, we have taken on many faces, but we are essentially the same because we have a unique energy signature. So although we have changed faces throughout incarnations, lifetimes, we have constantly changed faces, but we are essentially the same at our core, right? That's how you can find the beauty within the death process, because you truly don't die when you retain your memory, right? There we go. So what's up, SX? What's up? What's up? So again, I appreciate everybody for tuning in. We're gonna get up out of here. I may come on a little bit later. You know what I mean? So definitely check the links in the description. I'm gonna be going live on Instagram as well. I may go live on Facebook as well. So we putting out the information, and as much as we can. We're taking this very seriously, because this we just again, we're demonstrating, we're making it so that it can be understood even by a child, right? So I'm gonna get up out of here. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Definitely check out the website. I'll get at y'all a little bit later. Peace.